DMM Apocalypse is just 5 days away, and my goal is to make 5 billion GP in just 3 weeks. But to do this, I need to test every possible money-making method in an almost identical game mode. This is Deadman World.
Close your eyes.
Deadman World 345 is almost identical to DMM Apocalypse, apart from a few things like the new breaches. So for the last few weeks I've tested every way to show you how to make absolute bank here, the best training spots, where to PK or instead PVM without getting PK'd, and where to trade over any money that you make to 07 for ridiculous rates. But before we get into it, here are all of the important things that you really need to know for Deadman, that even some regular Deadman players don't know yet. This is all of the safe zones in the game mode that you're going to need to know about where you can't be attacked. This map looks pretty accurate apart from this part here, which isn't actually safe outside of the gnome stronghold, it's only inside the walls where you can't get attacked. You also need to be careful going down or up in any safe zone, as even though places like Lumbridge are safe, the basement isn't, which is a perfect PKing spot once people start to get Barrow's gloves. As a general rule, basements are normally not safe in any safe zone, and neither are agility courses. Upstairs in buildings varies, but the Lumbridge Bank is safe upstairs, and so is the Tree Gnome Stronghold Bank right next to the Slayer Cave. When I started training my stats, this was a great place to train magic. Ogre Warriors have very little magic defense, so you hit very often with low magic accuracy. More importantly though, you aren't classed as in combat when you're safe spot, so you can teleport out if a PK comes. In this game mode, you can't teleport out if you're being hit by anything in the last 5.4 seconds, making killing people so much easier. These also have a good drop table as well as some alchables that pay for your runes. Crabs are a great training spot and you get 1 hour of protection every time you reach a certain combat level, but these things are always very crowded. But completing the Depths of Despair quest will give you access to this Crabclaw Cave, which has a ton of them and there's not likely to be many PKs or other players to compete with inside of here. Even still, anytime you're not in a safe zone, you need to make sure you aren't risking anything on you or in your bank. Deadman has a unique mechanism that means when you get PK'd, you lose everything on you and your 10 most valuable items or stacks of items in your bank. But there are ways around risking, which I'll come to shortly. This is the only place to train prayer efficiently early on, and every PK knows it. Only the best PKs will command this spot and make absolute bank. As a PVM, only come here if you have an hour of protection. With the XP boost you get in this mode though, just a few inventories of Dragon Bones will normally get you a pretty decent prayer level. Every world will be packed, so out of the way places like the Brimhaven dungeon are key to staying safe if you aren't looking to PK yourself, as well as to not having to fight over NPC spawns. This spot of red dragons takes an extra couple of minutes to get to, but you're less likely to be bothered if you're training. Dragon Bones are also some very good starter money as people train their prayer. Last time they sold for 5,000 each on day 1, and these were the exchange rates last year. What this means is for every 1 GP you make in this game mode, people will buy it off you for this amount of GP in the 07 game mode. The 10k you get from the Stronghold of Security alone is worth 10 million GP in the first hour of Deadman, but the rate drops really quickly on day 1 and then slowly for the rest of the tournament. Trading money between Deadman and 07 always risks being scammed, but in Fresh Start Worlds there was one person who traded for the entire game mode, and all Fresh Start World players will know him, and that's Still Swap. He is swapping GP again in the friends chat Still Swap, as well as Monk Swap and River Swap this time. He was completely trustworthy throughout Fresh Start Worlds, so I have no reason at all to suspect he won't be again. But with any traders, always get in their friends chat early, and you'll know pretty soon if they're legit by what's posted. If you're looking to trade over your 10k, he's told me he will have traders at both of the G and at Lumbridge at the start of Deadman. Muling, which means trading items to another account that never leaves a safe zone, is bannable this time. So to reduce your risk, you can use any wizard at a bank to access your safety deposit box. This lets you store 10 items safely that you keep even on death. Lastly, before we get into the actual video, Jagex have made a huge mistake this Deadman. The Warriors Guild is now a safe zone, so it's going to be an amazing training place. Whilst upstairs will be packed again and probably one of the most frustrating and annoying places to be, with people fighting over spawns, downstairs there's plenty to go around and they're over a combat level 100, so have the highest drop rate of the sigils and a decent drop table on their own. Plus there's a food shop and a potion shop here, so you never need to go anywhere else. You can literally train all the way up to 99 strength, 99 attack and 99 defense, making a ton of GP here, Although be careful teleporting here, as this will undoubtedly be a PK hotspot. First thing I'm finding out in this game mode is everything is so expensive to buy, so I'm trying to buy things on the cheap, like chocolate dust to make energy potions so it doesn't cost me a fortune to train Herblot. Gonna have to buy some sand and soda ash from the charter ships. It's the only way I think I can train crafting relatively cheaply. I'm at the completely opposite end of the Falador mine. No one should really bother me here, surely. I think this is how you gotta think in Deadman mode. Somewhere I can AFK finally. I can fish here in the Gnome Stronghold. It's a safe zone, so no one can kill me. There's oak trees there in Varric, which is another safe zone, but there's normally yew trees behind the castle, but they're not in this mode. Not sure if they're going to be in Apocalypse or not. Having to make everything myself from scratch, it's so hard to get supplies. If you want to make money in this game mode, just basic stuff like getting supplies for people to train quickly is probably going to make you a fortune as well. I need seeds, and this place is sketchy as hell. I'm right in the middle of Draenor. There's nothing I can do. Maybe I could go to Hesidius. That might be the play, to be honest with you. 27 farming, risking being out in the open where it can be killed to create a safe spot where it can't be killed. That's the plan. Just wanted to check this place, so Sophanum's a safe place, but the Thieving Pyramid isn't. Just so you know if you come here. In Apocalypse, there's going to be a ton of automatic quests unlocked as you progress into different brackets. Fortunately, I don't have that luxury, so if I want to test everything, then I guess it's that time.
Blow it up like a volcano.
I need to do Heroes Quest, which means I've got to ask for someone's help. In a PvP world where I don't know anyone else at all, to be perfectly honest, so this could end really badly. Pretty safe here, got here before this guy. He's probably just helping me out, but you always got to be a little bit cautious. And the other thing you got to watch out for is I've advertised the fact I'm going here to the GE. 22,000 strength XP from that quest. Last time the XP boost also included quest XP. So if that's confirmed again this time, if you say get a 20 times multiplier, that's 440,000 strength XP from that quest alone. So far, not trying to earn any money, just getting my stats up, and that way I'm not actually risking anything even if I do die. The things I do for content. That moment when you're making a money-making video and you realise you were in Addy and Mithril. Don't think I'm ready for Sins of a Father just yet, but I might have just found an amazing money maker. I'm just testing out. Never in doubt. Just don't look at the top left of the screen. Finally, a Gautuber. Oh my. You know, these sell for quite a lot of money from memory as well because they're a pain to get. But I want to complete the Karam Jadari, and it's one of the things that you need. Someone here? Probably not a PK, but this is the dilemma you have in Deadman. Do you just play it safe and teleport you see anyone, or just when they're skulled? Okay, we are safe. That's the medium diary complete. Just need to do the hard now for what I think will be just a fantastic money maker. You probably know where I'm going with it, but these are selling as well for 10,000 GP each. With the hard diary completed, I now have access to the gem mine under Shiloh Village. Can I be PK'd here? Well, technically, yes, I can. But that would mean a PK going out and getting all of the achievements up into hard in the Karam Jadari, which is not very likely to happen. Got a bunch of gems, no one bothered me at all, so going to make this into jewellery and hopefully it'll all sell. Lore runes are not even buying on the G for 500 GP each, so I'm just wondering if this might be another good money maker. Instant 8k profit, might not seem like a lot, but on the first few days of Deadman mode, that's worth a lot of money. Selling everything on 2 accounts, very slow to sell in this game mode because there's only 50 playing, unlike the next one where there'll be like thousands of people playing. But so far, lures are selling well and all the amulets are selling really quickly too, at an extortionate price. The normal gems as well for crafting for other people, they sell instantly and for a good price too. Got my farming level up so now I can plant higher level trees in a safe zone in the Gnome Stronghold. Cutting trees, fletching them and selling the bows to a shop sounds like a terrible money maker normally, but when you're getting 100 times the money to trade over to 07, it's suddenly not that bad. Anything that doesn't buy on the G, I'm also testing as well. Just shut this door behind me. Just gives you a little bit extra time if anyone comes up behind you to teleport away. And feathers are one of the things that I can't buy on the G8, so I'm going to test this one out as well. Since I have the logs, I thought actually I might as well make some headless arrows. Decent fletching XP when you're getting like 10 times the XP rate anyway, and they're going to sell for more money. I guess this is the opposite side in Deadman mode, having to pay a lot of money out just for basic supplies. No one's got any iron ore, and this is the reason that we pay so much for supplies, To get any supplies, you have to go out of a safe zone, so it's just that risk of losing everything that you've got currently. Stats are coming along really nicely, only being in this game mode for about a week. All obscure items that are fairly useful, all quest supplies, generally sell for about 10,000 GP each. Left them in last night, they've all sold beautiful. 100k. Imagine not on day 3, like 12 bullseye lanterns have just made you 2 million GP. It's crazy. As you can see as well, I've made a pot of cornflour just to test that as well. Sold for 10,000 GP just because it's a quest item. Level 70 fishing coming in. I do need to train my stats to unlock a lot of the combat money makers that I want to test later on. Last time there was some guy who sold split logs for 10,000 GP each. Very clever move, because you need, I think it's 7 for the quest. Really random tip, but if you start finding that you can't train rune crafting because there's too many PKs, you can get these chaos cores from chaos golems in the ruins of Kamdozel, which is a really out the way place, and I wouldn't expect to see many PKs there. So you're training your combat up anyway, and you're also getting these which give you 4,250 XP at 20 times XP rate each one. So one inventory is 100,000 rune crafting XP. They do take a while to get though. The Burning Amulet farm is complete. They're selling really well. Look how much the price these are worth altogether for what I'm selling them for. Crazy. Slayer is just amazing money. Definitely that risk versus reward here. This is probably a really bad idea. That is not what I wanted to see. Last kill, and I should have enough Slayer points for an unlock, and whilst everyone else is unlocking things like bigger and badder, if you unlock this, I think this might be really good money. I've unlocked Broad Deflection, and this will be 13,000 bolts complete. Tons of XP as well, but I think these should sell for a good profit. If you sell for 100 each, that should be about 500k profit off those. Even basic herbs are over 1k each, so I'm down here trying to get some herbs. I've picked the Tavoli dungeon, it's a little bit more out the way. That was going to take way too long to get level 70, so I'm going to bite the bullet and just buy a load of herbs. Getting all those gems got me up to 92 mining, so I thought, why not try Amethyst, see how good this is as well. Just made a bunch of teleport tabs as well, couldn't buy any of these on the GE, so thinking this might be good money too. So it looks like teletabs are going to be a good thing to make, if you can get the soft clay. I've tried to mine here 3 times now, this is someone now in competition with me here, and I've seen 2 PKs and maybe an hour's total, so very slow method as well. I don't think this is going to be one I'll be doing in the Deadman tournament. Mahogany logs are expensive, 300 GP each, but if you think that's bad, mahogany planks in this game mode are 3,000 GP. So you know what that means? Dream Mentor complete, so now I've got access to plank make. Well, that's taking a bit of a chunk out of my profit, can't lie, but even still going to make a lot of money from these planks if I can sell them for 3k each. What a great way this could be to get level 99 magic. They're all selling for 3k each, and obviously you get a ton of magic XP when you're making plank make. Could be a little sneaky method this to never having to risk and get 99 mage. Archaic Emblem, nice, that's like a bonus drop where you can get every so often when you're killing anything, and you can trade it in with the Emblem Trader to get various supplies. Noob check complete, just don't have the DPS. I've had to break the bank and get one of these. How much do you think this costs in this game mode? 1.1 million GP, and that's why you do Slayer. So much easier. So I now have access to Prifdinus, which means so many different money makers, but the one I really want to try is a combat one that literally you have no risk for. Looks like I've got it this time. Definitely have to overgear a little bit on your prep with these stats. Now that I've got access to there's a couple of things I need, and level 82 Thieving is one of them. Probably one of the most vulnerable places you can be this. You can't take any gear in with you, so it's only a short trip from the bank to the gate, but essentially you have no gear, no food, no nothing. So if you're a PK and you want easy kills, this is probably the spot. That's my last piece of rogue equipment, so now anytime I pickpocket I get double the loot. I'm sure you probably figured out already, but Firewatch dropped the blood shard, and they're worth a fortune in any of these game modes. 2 blood shards just before drop rate. I've been thinking, and I don't even know if the drop rate's increased on these when you thieve them. I know it is when you kill them, but I'm not sure about thieving, but even still, they're just worth a ton of money, so it's probably still worth it anyway. I'm going to advertise it in the Discord for the Deadman mode as well. I'll put a link in the description. It's probably best whenever you get a big item to advertise it on here, even if it's just a picture of what your GE offer is, just so it buys or sells that much more quickly. Pretty much 20 million GP there, and even in this game mode, the rate is still 2 to 1, so I'm going to make 40 million GP off that. So lucky, well under drop rate on them. I'm going to give combat a go over here as well, but I'm not going to do it in the usual spot. Prayer potions are really cheap because you can buy them from the Emblem Trader, so I've just took some prayer gear, load of prayer pots, and I'm actually out the way killing Vise here in the hope that I don't get PK'd. I can just AFK. So far, I've been left alone. Got a blood shard as well. That's 5 blood shards now, 10 million each. And at the current exchange rate of 2 to 1, even in this game mode, that's still 100 million GP. Not bad. This could be one of the most underrated money makers there are, because all of the god gear really sells for a lot of money on Deadman modes, so the boots and things like that, as well as the pages. Plus even rune items, cash is king in the first few days. You get a rune item and you high alka for like 40,000 GP. Day 1, day 2 when the rate's like 50 to 1. That's going to be like 2 million GP for a rune item. And all of the D-hide is going to sell really well in the first few days as well. So it might be a sneaky one this. This is how you're going to trade money over when you make it. So I'm going to sell 60 million GP. This guy's giving me a rate of just under 2 to 1. Obviously it's lower in this game mode than you're going to get. I've got one account on an 07 world, which is going to pay me that money, and he's going to take money on the other world. Typically, he's not accepting. This is quite normal, where you have a game of who's going to accept first. But as a general rule, it's normally the one buying on Deadman mode that goes first, whether that be GP or an item. Unless you use a friend chat that does it all the time, in which case they always expect you to go first. All those broad bolts have sold, even feathers, just by themselves, 10 GP each. How easy is that to make money? Right, let's see if I can get some decent off the Corrupted Gauntlet. Not risking anything, this is the beauty of this one. I'm not risking a single thing. I don't need any gear to go in, I don't need to do anything whatsoever, and I don't even need to loot the chest at the end if there's a PK there. I say you don't risk anything, but the loot here alone from just like 5 or 6 kills is like nearly 1 million GP. Great money even if you don't get a seed. Armor seed, not bad. That's worth a little bit of money. I think it's like 5 million in this game mode. I don't know it's going to be worth in the normal Deadman, but generally they're quite well sought after crystal armor, so it should be good money as well. This will be another great money maker. Last time there was always someone here just waiting for people to either teleport in or leave Zulrah for the next run. Very risky, but such good money, Zulrah. Another 2 kill trip, only just. Now you might get some great perks in Deadman mode where you're getting like these sigils that restore your health or give you back HP or whatever, make the kills so much easier. But trying to do another run in this one is likely to be a PK outside, and only half an inventory of food means you can probably get PK'd quite easily. Zulrah scales have sold for quite a decent amount as well. If I remember rightly last time, they start off really cheap when no one's got any of the weapons to use them on initially, and then they go up in price later on. This is probably the best gear I've had all series. So now I can test Shamans, and I wanted to do this one because it's a very good cash money maker, and you can do this almost straight away. Well, first I thought the safe spot would be good, but looking at it now, it's probably not going to be, because every time you lure it, you get hit by it. So if you're a PK and you just watch for the spawn to happen, they could essentially run in and attack me now, and there's nothing I could do. I can't even run away because I'd have 2 other Shamans jumping all over me as well as ranging me. This is probably a better spot, because if a PK comes in, the other Shaman's going to attack them so that they can't attack you. But if a team logs in, you're stuffed. What a great cash money maker though that you can probably do on day 1. 177,000 GP as well as a load of items. I really wanted to do Chamber of Zera because the items there are always worth a fortune, especially like the prayer scrolls. But unfortunately I don't have the gear or really the time. So instead I want to test out Tombs of a Massacre because this wasn't in the last Deadman. I'm risking absolutely nothing. I have no gear on me. Do we think he's going to attack me? Of course he is. Yeah, unlucky. I just get a feeling someone's going to camp here. If this is not a safe zone, someone's camping here, aren't they? They just are. Let's hope I'm not vulnerable during this cinematic, otherwise people coming to Tombs of a Massacre are going to be easy prey. I think that'll be fine. I don't think you'll be vulnerable there, but don't quote me on that just in case. Not too bad, but even at level 185, I'm risking probably here maybe 3 million GP in gear, I reckon. And the Tombs of a Massacre doesn't have the best items for Deadman mode anyway. Yeah, it's terrible here, don't come. The last place I wanted to come was here, high risk, high reward. And Callisto is just crazy money, and it's going to be so in Deadman mode. So is the Rev Caves, although the Rev Caves have been nerfed slightly, so they're not going to be as good, but certainly still got a lot of good supply drops and things. But it's going to be PK City. I'd love to have ended with a big drop, but realistically, Deadman in 5 days, and I've got a few things to do on it yet. There's going to be another guide out on individual moneymakers as well as cash moneymakers, so you can get the most for that exchange rate early on. And if you want to see how I made 700 million GP last year in just 5 days, I'll put a link in the description below.